Hello everyone, doing a quick audio check here. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. I have a new microphone, so I'm just doing a little bit of testing here really quickly. There it is. Alright, good afternoon everybody. Jonah here, owner and co-founder of West Michigan Weather. We're live on US 131 heading south towards I-94. And we'll probably head east on I-94 towards the Calhoun County area, just to the east of Battle Creek. We're going to try to get on the severe warned thunderstorms over there, east of US 131. We do have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect for a decent portion of the area that's been recently trimmed. But we do have several severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for Eaton, Ingham, Calhoun, and now a new severe thunderstorm warning that has just come out for Jackson County as well. So these are all warned for 60 mile per hour winds and hail up to the size of pennies, which is under severe limits, but that 60 mile per hour wind threat is prompting those severe thunderstorm warnings on that side of the state there. So everywhere southeast of a Battle Creek to Lansing line essentially is still under the gun for a severe weather threat through the remainder of the evening hours. I'm not convinced that I'm going to try to get on this stuff yet. They are moving off to the southeast and to the east at 50 miles per hour or greater on average. And so I'm just not convinced that that's going to be worth it, given the low end threat, if you will, today. So let me fix this face cam quickly here. Enjoy my ridiculous looking face here. Just a second. There we go. Should be good. Okay. Yeah, anyway, these severe thunderstorms are developing a little bit further southeast than I think we were anticipating. But I did just want to get on here, go live really quickly and just update everyone on the severe weather situation. We do have that severe thunderstorm watch in effect until 9 p.m. For much of the southeastern and southern portions of our coverage area, so everywhere from Berrien County up through Kalamazoo, those bottom rows of counties in southern lower Michigan, and then up through up through Ionia and Eaton County there with northward extent, and then of course obviously the watch itself stretches back over to the more eastern half of the state there. Additional watch issuance is possible. We don't have a mesoscale discussion or anything in effect yet for that area, but it's certainly possible that over the next couple of hours we see a mesoscale discussion and subsequent downstream watch for these severe storms. But once we get to I-94 here, I'll kind of be making a determination about whether or not I'm going to storm chase. The severe thunderstorm watch is pretty low in terms of the probabilities. They're maxing out at about 40% for each individual hazard. And the fact that the biggest threat was kind of the tennis ball size hail, or at least that's what really struck out to me on the severe thunderstorm watch. The fact that these storms are not even warned for 1-inch hail, let alone tennis ball size hail, leads me to believe that they are just not going to perform as well as expected. Of course, that can still change as they progress to the southeast side of the state there. But they are definitely congealing into a line. So overall, probably a lower hail threat and more of a damaging wind threat. But again, 60 miles an hour is just that baseline Yeah, just that baseline severe thunderstorm warning, and so there's really not a lot of, if you will, there's not a lot of interest from a storm chasing perspective to go and spend that time and that gas money and all of that stuff on trying to get caught up with these when we just don't know how area rather quickly. So it may just be the case where I hang out here at 131 and I-94 for a couple of minutes and just answer whatever questions you guys have, and we will go from there. We do have a special weather statement that is in effect for Berrien County, for southern Berrien County, for these storms that are moving on shore down in southern Berrien County, and those are also continuing to track off to the east as well. So not going to completely rule out hanging out here at 131 and 94 to see what these storms off to our west, or off to our southwest, excuse me, do, because if those get severe, maybe we'll try to get on those. But I'm not really that keen on heading east to try to catch up to these storms that are already approaching the US 127 corridor. So we'll have to see. I'm not going to totally rule it out, but we'll be at I-94 in about 5 minutes here, and then I will attempt to fix the 3-panel, because as you guys can see, it's a little bit wonky there. For whatever reason, we might not use that. For some reason, the file looks corrupted almost. Not sure, but we'll have to see here. I will try to get that camera flipped around at the very least. So, but yeah, as I said, severe thunderstorm watch in effect until 9 p.m. for the southern and southeastern portions of our coverage area. The threat to the north is, so if you're to the north of I-96, I-196, your severe threat is pretty much over. There's just not a lot of ingredients left in the atmosphere to support a severe weather threat there. So been a much needed quieter time frame the last several weeks here, in terms of severe weather and weather in general. Honestly, it's been relatively mild for the last several weeks, and that was a much needed break for us and for the rest of the community, the meteorologists and the broadcast meteorologists at our local news stations. And for us, of course, here at West Michigan Weather, from a storm chasing and forecasting perspective, really February through late May were just nonstop for us. I mean, all the way from February 27th with the severe weather threat and the school closings the next day, all the way through April, when we had a couple of severe weather threats thrown in there. And then, of course, May 7th, on that unfortunate day for the southern portion of our coverage area, Portage, Coldwater, Branch County, all of those places that were impacted by significant tornadoes and other significant severe weather on May 7th. And then, of course, we've had some marginal risks through the remainder of May. But late May, from about the 25th or so, all the way through up until now, have been relatively quiet in terms of hazardous weather. But now, as we start to head into our primary severe weather season, for Michigan, we may start to see more regular occurrences of needing to forecast and live stream and storm chase and all those things, and it can be very taxing for us. So this is the I-94 interchange here. We are going to go a little bit further south just to the next exit, and then we'll drop back north on 131 to get on I-94 as needed. If we so choose, but I kind of want to get in position to focus on these southwestern, or these storms off to our southwest. So again, severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for Hingham and Calhoun County for 60-mile-per-hour winds and penny-sized hail. After today, we'll have our eyes on a couple of more days of hazardous weather potential, both in terms of the risk for excessive heat, temperatures in excess of 90 degrees and heat indices possibly approaching the 100-degree mark, which could lead to some heat advisories and maybe even some localized excessive heat warnings across parts of our area. Later this weekend and into early next week. And then, of course, with that heat and that humidity brings near daily chances of thunderstorms, and a few of those days may feature a risk for severe thunderstorms as well. So we will continue to watch those threats. We are largely focused on today and haven't done much forecasting aside from that, but we are definitely watching late this weekend and into early next week pretty closely in terms of hazardous weather potential. So we're going to get off here and evaluate what's going on, and I will fix this 3-panel display for you guys here, and we'll go from there. Rainy, I see that you said that we're glitching. It should be a little bit better now, now that we have some better service. In terms of what cities, we are at US 131 and I-94 to the south of Kalamazoo. So we are near Portage and Three Rivers. Turn around in this parking lot here. I will fix this 3-panel display quickly here. Give me 1 second. Okay. Anyway, sorry guys, I was talking to myself here. Just was evaluating sort of what my thought is here. We have a couple of damaging wind reports. One in Penfield Township in Calhoun County, and then one to the to the north of Charlotte in Eaton County. Both are for tree limbs and power lines. They're both over an hour away from us. My other thinking is that these storms, this line of storms that is marginally severe at best, is tracking largely out of our coverage area. So there may not be much of a need for us to continue to storm chase, continue to live stream. I don't want to completely say that yet, but just in looking at radar trends as well as model trends, not seeing a whole lot of anything that's impressive for the West Michigan area. They've canceled the severe thunderstorm watch for Kent County, so and that was the northernmost county in the watch there. So the fact that they're already trimming the watch less than 2 hours after it's been issued is pretty unusual. And again, just not seeing a ton of crazy severe weather that would be worth storm chasing. I see marginally severe storms at best here on radar, and the warnings are all for 60 mile per hour winds and penny-sized hail. Heavy rainfall and frequent lightning are probably our more common hazards with these storms, and they are largely east of our area now, with the exception of southern Berrien County and southern St. Joseph County. Go ahead and go full radar, and you guys can see what I am talking about in more detail here. So this pink polygon is a severe thunderstorm watch here, and originally that severe thunderstorm watch included Allegan, it included Barry, it included Kent, and I believe it included Ottawa County as well. So the fact that they're trimming this watch already to remove this northern fringe is just telling me that this convective line here is our primary threat. This convective line here is our primary threat, and as you can see, it is transitioning largely off to the southeast at a pretty quick rate here. And so our coverage area is about here in this area, so points northwest of that sort of square box. There is our coverage area, and so the fact that these storms are already on the southeastern fringe of that and are transitioning southeast is just not very conducive to me having a desire to chase them. And even on the Detroit radar site, these storms are not looking super impressive. I'd argue that they are weakening with time. Definitely weakening with time. Oops, that's not what I want. I want this. So it's just kind of interesting. Overall, I don't think that this is going to be a very robust event. Yeah, and to the south, they're just going with special weather statements. So the severe weather threat for West Michigan is largely over unless you are on that I-69 corridor to the east of a Battle Creek to Sturgis line. So unless you're in this area here, your severe weather threat is pretty much over. Yeah, and this just further proves my point. The National Weather Service in Detroit is opting to drop severe thunderstorm warnings and go with special weather statements for strong thunderstorms. Because these storms are simply weakening, right? They're not posing the threat that we thought they were going to. And so it's just not... the environment is just not as conducive to severe weather as we had initially thought it may be. And that especially some of the models were hinting at overnight and early this morning. The severe weather threat may be more widespread and maybe a little bit more robust than was previously being indicated. So overall, I'm not very impressed with this. I think that we will probably end our live stream here. I do just see a couple more wind reports coming in that I want to take a quick look at. There's several reports of wires down near Hastings. So, any hoozle, I will probably go ahead and end our stream here, guys. Unfortunately, it's just not looking like much is going to happen this evening for West Michigan. I do appreciate y'all tuning in for the little time that we were live. Hopefully this update gave you a little bit of information that'll help you make informed weather-aware decisions through the rest of the evening. Slightly cooler weather overnight tonight and into the early parts of the weekend, but then by Sunday and especially Monday, hot, humid weather quickly returns to the area, and again we may see heat indices approaching the 100-degree mark, and those would prompt heat advisories for much of the area if I had to guess, and maybe some localized excessive heat warnings. Of course, when we have very hot weather, we saw this in August of last year, when we have consecutive days of very hot, humid weather, it's very easy for us to have a daily thunderstorm risk and even some severe weather risks thrown in there. Those of you who experienced the tornadoes of August 24th, 2023 will know that all too well. So it is definitely a active period of weather that we're going into. It is peak severe weather season here in Michigan as we head into June, July, August, September. The peak summer months are definitely our peak severe weather season here in West Michigan. So it's going to be important to stay weather aware as we go through the remainder of the summer. Make sure you guys are following us. Go ahead and share these resources that we provide with your friends and family on Facebook, on YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, whatever platform that you use. All of our links are down there at the bottom of the screen right now. Go ahead and share all of those with with your friends and family so that they can be weather aware as well. We hate to see instances like we saw last week when a marginally severe threat results in injuries and fatalities and somewhat unexpected severe weather intensity across the area. So as always, important to be weather aware. So again, I appreciate you guys tuning in. If something were to redevelop for whatever reason, I wouldn't hesitate to go back live. But in general, I think our severe weather threat for the evening is pretty much over. So see you guys later.